Over the last 15 years, I've been working full-time with the Australian Defence Force and the Australian Army as a communications specialist. I spent a lot of time doing various project work and capability development while I was within the Army. Towards the back end of my career, I finished my Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics and used that to change the direction of my career to be more focused on test and evaluation and capability development. I then completed my master's degree through University of New South Wales at ADFA in an engineering science master's, where I did a lot of work in capability development. Towards the end of my career, when I knew that it was time for me to move on and make a civilian change, I had a couple of options out there and had looked around to find the right company that I wanted to go work with. At that point in time, I was approached by Precision Technic Defence, and they asked me if I would raise the Australian company. Precision Technic Defence is a Danish company that's been operating for over 30 years. They specialise in sensor equipment, and about 10 years ago changed their speciality to be more defence focused. They worked again in the sensor industry, however selling towards defence customers. Approximately 5 or 6 years ago, they worked as a subcontract to Rockwell Collins here in Australia under the Land 17 project, and they were the deliverers of a lot of the hardware that went into the digital terminal control station, which is still in service today. As part of the refresh of that equipment and an upgrade, Precision Technic Defence decided it would be best to have someone within country working on that particular project, as well as a number of other similar projects that are being raised around the same time. So about 2 years ago is when they asked me to come on board, and that's when the company became a proprietary limited company, and we've been operating ever since. Precision Technic Defence now has 4 offices globally. Our headquarters is in Denmark, with a couple of satellite offices within the country. We have the Australian company, which has been running for 2 years now. We also now have a UK company where we have a managing director looking after our UK side of the house, as well as a company within Germany. We have a sales director within Germany who works with a lot of manufacturers within Germany to then provide some of the equipment that we do into Germany. Our expertise is within growing relationships both with the customer and with the manufacturers. So on the customer side, a lot of us come from a military background. So we have our own personal experience in a lot of the equipment that we are delivering, as well as a lot of contacts within the defence community to ensure that the products that we are selling have a requirement and they fill a capability gap. A lot of our initial clients have been in the Special Forces side of defence, mostly because of the products that we do are more high-end, low-quantity numbers of equipment. However, as we see, as equipment changes over the years and develops, some of the equipment that was more focused towards Special Forces is now more applicable for the General Forces, and we've broadened our customer base from there. We also do some law enforcement, police, and within Australia, the Australian Federal Police work. And again, it's born out of equipment which has a particular purpose but can be used for other organisations. So our focus over the last 2 years initially was solutions towards the Joint Terminal Air Controllers and our Joint Fires community, again under the Land 17 banner, working with Collins Aerospace and working with our customers directly to see what that new capability and develop a solution in that space. We've also worked a lot in the battlefield management system space. It was born out of a capability gap within the battlefield management systems in the dismounted world, and our speciality is dismounted and tactical communications and solutions. A hard kind of space to work in when you have size, weight and power considerations for a person to carry who's already overburdened with a lot of weight. From there we kind of grew out of our power management and battlefield management systems additional equipment such as counter UAV or counter drone technology, again worn on the soldier, powered off the soldier's power supplies. More technology for targeting laser rangefinders, night vision equipment. And to go with a whole lot of the technology equipment, we've had to ensure that the soldiers could wear that equipment and that they could power the equipment. And so we work with different battery and power manufacturers. We work with companies who are making on-the-person generator systems. We're working with companies that who make bespoke packs and carriage equipment, because there's no point in delivering a whole lot of new technology to the soldier if they can't integrate it into the equipment that they already carry. Within the larger organisations, defence is probably 95% of our business and about 5% in the law enforcement piece. We don't do commercial sales, we don't do civilian sales. There are some small bits of equipment that could have some crossover, but since we don't tend to run a shop front or a purchasing kind of area, then that's not something we do very much of. Within the defence sector itself, traditionally we've broken that up into three areas. The communications and information systems area, which includes some of our intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance equipment. We also have warrior systems, which is all our boots and packs and uniforms, which is the piece that ensures that whatever we deliver in a technology space can be integrated onto the soldier. And then we also work in a platform centric sector, which is scaling up what we do as the soldier as a platform to smaller vehicles and also other platforms. We've done some work with fast jets, we've done some work on small boats, but the majority in that platform sector for us is in small vehicles. So we've fitted out some small ATV size vehicles up to larger 4 to 6 man vehicles. Again, putting in communication systems, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance systems, integrating power systems, and then also integrating our sensor systems on mast systems or on networked equipment. Just recently, we've added a fourth sector to that portfolio, and we're now working in the space sector. We've just recently applied through a defence tender for a provision of a nano satellite for the University of New South Wales and DST Group for the second version of the Buccaneer satellite that they will be launching. That's quite new to us. We're working with a Danish company called Space Inventor on that particular project, and it's our first venture into that sector. However, it's a burgeoning sector, and it's quite an interesting one, and it sees a bit of a merge of a lot of the other work that we do in the communications and intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance piece, and treat that as a separate type of platform with some specific requirements. Denmark is a technological hub. They have made some very big advances in technology over the last 20 or 30 years, and a lot of underpinning technology has been born out of universities in Denmark. As such, they have lots of startups. They have lots of small companies that work in technology areas, for instance, counter UAV, in the space sector, building nano satellites, and in the communications sector, building communications systems, network systems. So there is a lot of development that goes on in Denmark itself. As such, Precision Technic Defence has been able to leverage of a lot of those companies and deliver cutting-edge technology as it's developed to the soldiers within Europe and by extension down here into Australia and globally. Very good opportunities to work directly with manufacturers and allow some capability requirements to be adjusted to the defence sector in itself if that company has developed a technology without the initial intent of that being a defence product. Within Australia, we spent the last 2 years developing our name and our brand. That's been a lot of my focus, is ensuring that the defence market knows that we're here, ensuring that the customers know that we are here. We've worked closely with some very big companies, and we've worked closely with some smaller companies as well. Our biggest achievement for the last 2 years has been building that network. Once we've built that network, we've then been able to go after some tenders that we probably wouldn't have been able to do on our own, and working collaboratively with other companies such as under the Defence collaboration group of Horizon Defence Systems. We've been able to work closely with them to put forward a very competitive tender in a rather large project, which is going to be approached by large defence contractors. After we've spent the time getting our name out there and marketing ourselves quite well, we've now made headways with some other companies and some manufacturers to be able to build with them in a partnership new solutions. As previously discussed, working with Space Inventor on the nano satellites is something that we hadn't done beforehand, and a really good opportunity for us to get into that space sector, starting on a small, low-risk tender, and allowing us to be able to build that relationship and partnership from there. Just recently, we've started working with a company called ARA, and they provide augmented reality systems. We've just signed an agreement with them, and we will start over the next couple of weeks a bit of a roadshow demonstrating some augmented reality on the soldier. Our relationship with them has been such that they've had a product and they know their customer base. However, they needed the integration into the soldier systems, which we've provided them assistance into the power and data management, and also they've had to develop a new way of actually viewing the augmented reality. Right now it interfaces into night vision equipment and Fusion night vision or through clip-ons. But we introduced them to another company that we work called 615, who specialise in providing vision systems. So they're able now to work together to build a day augmented reality system, which allows either a drop-down display or a display which is integrated into either a helmet system or into a glasses system to allow for augmented reality on the battlefield during daylight hours. Our objectives over the next 12 to 24 months are to start getting more equipment into the hands of our soldier, sailors and airmen. We've spent the 2 years making our name. We've spent the last 6 months delivering small amounts of equipment out into the wild, as it would be. And from here on in, we want to start delivering large amounts of equipment. There are lots of capability gaps out there defence-wide, and we want to start filling them as fast as possible. We want to keep working closely with the procurement agencies and with the customers and with other manufacturers to see if we can shorten that development and delivery time of cutting-edge technology. So as we go forwards for the next 1 to 2 years, that's the piece. We want to show that it is possible to come up with a requirement set, put it through the correct procurement and through the agencies that way, and then deliver in a very short period of time. Here within Australia is our immediate focus. Again, the more people that we have on board, the faster we can deliver new capability to the defence sector. We would also like to start looking more into New Zealand, and where we have some good relationships in New Zealand, we don't have any boots on the ground within New Zealand. Same within Southeast Asia. Again, that market is slightly different on how they do business, and we're starting to break in there with equipment. Our next step is to break into that market with people, and so we have a little bit more contact with the actual end users, because again, that's where we bring our strength. It's very difficult to do things remotely or through a proxy. We would like to talk face to face to our customers and deliver exactly what it is that they require.